the way you can make it suck more. Like, I think I'm not worried about the team staying together. I'm worried about us getting our football right. And, I think that's the fourth game that we've lost in the final couple minutes this season, where it's been a one-score game, and we haven't come out victorious. So you got to figure that out. There's no doubt that there's guys that are hurting from the game that we let slip away. But yeah, and I think the biggest thing is that I think the team. I believe in the human beings, coaches, players, and they while we didn't get it done, they did show me why I believe in them. I think the resolve was real. I think we had a quarter that was very much less to be desired, and ended up being down 10 points in the fourth quarter, and got ourselves to a position with a lead with 46 seconds left, and we didn't finish the game that we started. So the message is, you want. It's hard to get victories in the National Football League, and so there's times when you do a lot to do it right, but we had turnovers that we could have managed better. We have, I believe in our special teams has done a good job all year in terms of impacting the game. That they did a good job this game, and then you don't want to see that many return yardage or that much return yardage. You don't have it on the 40 and defend from the 40 with one timeout. And so these are the things that you have to go through, but we will collectively get back to work tomorrow, because that's what you do, and go face the next opponent while trying to correct the stuff from the tape.
Mike, you may or may not be aware that Tua said shortly that some players have not been either going to players-only meetings or being late. Curious how aware of you are that, if that's been going on, if that's something that you're worried about, any kind of fracturing in the locker room, guys not buying in, whatever the case may be.
No, so yeah, I didn't. Player-led meetings are extra things outside of what I demand. We've been very accountable to me. It sounds like there was something on his mind with regard to the specific meetings with a couple individuals that he was trying to get corrected by being with direct communication. So, I think that's the only way to lead. As far as where we've been at as a program, I think we've opened the air on all of that, and it's very clear what our how we hold people accountable, and where my what's non-negotiable with all those things. So clearly he's sending a message, but from my standpoint, everything that I've asked of the guys, they have delivered on. And so I'm sure whomever he's talking to, they'll deliver, as well as he's a direct communicator with his teammates.
Mike, how did you see the decisive long pass to McConkey?
How did I see it? I think we had the part of winning football games is executing your best technique and fundamentals at the end of the game. Now, there's not one player or play that, dictates the game. It's an accumulation of that. But when you're in a position to win a football game, and you have a quarterback in your grasp, I think the last or the play previous and that Ladd play, we have a potential sack. A potential sack in that situation is monumental because then they have to burn a timeout because they're behind the sticks, and now they have no timeouts, which can affect however you get points. And we were unable to come up with that sack. I think there's a couple people that had ops. He got the ball out, and then it comes back to more fundamentals and technique, where you're bringing your feet in space, and we had an overrun tackle, so very controllable. And it's a tough one to experience because it's at the root of the technique and fundamentals that we've been talking endlessly about, how to bring ball carriers down. So that was a big play in the game. It didn't decide the game. However, it could have been the decider for us if we make plays that I think we have the ability to across the board. So that's something that needs to stand out for the guys. The loss will stand out. You want to attach it to something so that you can learn from it. One of the learning lessons to me will be our technique and fundamentals to close out games, because that's the parity in the National Football League. That is the formula you're trying to solve. Whatever the stats are on how close the scores are on average. It's a one possession league, or a one possession score league, and so we have to come on. We have to figure out how to do that. And until we do that, we're gonna end up feeling the way we feel, and I'm pretty sure guys are way over that. So we need to get back to work.
You break down what happened coming out of half. It goes touchdown, interception, touchdown, real quick there.
Yeah, it was not the way that we spent our halftime trying to really attack the game. I think we had a 4-point lead, and in football, it's close quarters. You're a little off on a throw, and it ends up being an interception. I think that quarter in particular was the least complimentary football that we played. I believe our successes came, from I think the first takeaway that we got. I think JB recovered a fumble, and then the next play we scored a touchdown. I think in the fourth quarter, we were down 2 scores with about 13 left, if I remember correctly. Then we scored maybe with about 7. Then they had 1 first down, and we forced a punt, and then we went back down on a 5-minute drive to score. We are getting the type of football we want when we play complementary football between the 3 phases, and we're letting it snowball too much. That's been the case in other games. We've been trying to nip that in the butt, but it showed up in the third quarter, and it cost us for sure.
With these one-score games, you mentioned it was, this is the 4th one. I think we heard Tua earlier say, that's kind of how football goes. Like, at what point do you say, one-score loss, like it's a coin flip versus no, this is specifically something that we have done wrong?
No, you always have to look at it as there's something you can control. You don't. Football games and life don't just happen to you. I think that's the biggest thing that our young players have to learn, and everyone has to learn, is that it doesn't. No one really has time nor cares about how you feel, and losing's hard and it feels like trash. No one cares. You have to, regardless if they're high-fiving you or booing you, you have control over the next result, and that's it. You have your choice of how you go about things. You have your choice if things are going to beat you down, it's going to be too difficult. And in that, you find out, really who your teammates are, who people are. So I think the team knows that that's something that, I'm very front end focused on how how you're able in this world and in this league to show everyone who you are by difficult times. A difficult time is losing a second consecutive game after having a lead in the last what would you call it? The last third of the fourth quarter. So that's tough. It forces you to go back to work and focus on the details, and you don't know what detail is going to be the winning element. But it shouldn't matter. We have a job to do. Our job is not just to take a bunch of L's, so we need to go back to work and be tough-minded and figure out how we're gonna attack the next opponent, and that's where you go from there. And it's very, very clear, cut and dry. I trust the team of coaches and players to be strong-minded, understand the nature of the business, and attack it full fold. And we'll start right when the sun rises tomorrow.
To go off of that, my bad, man. To go off of that, I know every game is its own entity, but is there typically a common denominator when a team struggles to close out games late?
Yeah. Generally, it's the collective. It comes down to a lot of things. It can be as easy as who people want to point fingers at the end of the game, and I try to find themes for things that are occurring. Each game is unique to its own. I was looking to make sure that this team, didn't fall victim to, all right, man, we want to win, but oh shoot, here we go again. And fortunately or unfortunately, I got to find that information out in the third quarter, because there's where the team quits if the losses have beat them down too much. It wasn't the case. They fought back, and I was proud of that. But it's not what we're looking for. It's not. There's zero victory that would be considered moral. However, I think it's reasonable to have expectation that we have our best performance at the end of games as we continue to work as a team. Otherwise, we'll be forced to deal with the same result. And I know no one's on board in the locker room for that. So we will be very, very focused on finishing football games, particularly ones that we have in our grasp.
Shocked. I guess you could say. Just this is something that we've talked about collectively as a team, about being able to finish in games like this, where we have the opportunity to win the game. And it's not just one side of the ball. It's every phase. I've contributed with the turnovers. We had some missed opportunities in teams, and then we had some missed opportunities on defense as well. But for us to go out there, have an opportunity to seal the game, and then, we don't allow that to happen. Either way, last week, Carolina offense, this week, you can look at it however you want. That's just not the way we want to play football and establish what we've been talking about throughout OTAs, training camp, and even in our meetings, like our leadership meetings, like it's frustrating, to say the least. So
what has been and you mentioned some of it, the inability of this team to just play complementary football where one side does well, then the special team lets up the big return. Just so many things, when one thing goes well, go bad.
Pardon? Sorry.
So, no, I said, what has been the issue there, the inability to play complementary football as a team?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that go into it. Adjustments on the other side of the ball if you're on defense, vice versa for offense. And then now we got to make adjustments if we're not able to convert our third downs and continue the flow for ourselves offensively and defensively. And then with teams, you know, they got to go out there and they got to do what they do, knowing who they got, knowing what rush lanes they're in, all of that. So I would say it's just adjustments. Like, you got to continue to adjust throughout the game, and that's the name of the game as we play it.
What was the difference in the third quarter, the two possessions, minus 11 yards or something? The fourth quarter, you had a score, you did it twice. What sparked in the fourth quarter? What was the difference?
I think just settling down with the guys, kind of finding the flow, get a completion, run the ball, stay ahead of the chains, third and manageable, convert on our third downs, and then continue to play normal football.
First interception went off. Jalen Waddle, last one, that's just a last-second hope. But what happened on that second one, the one in between?
On the second one, that was just a bad ball. Just bad ball that I threw to Vaughn.
And on that first one, was there a little bit of a hesitation, a pump there?
To Waddle? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just as I'm dropping back, trying to see what Zero wants to do. But, me and Zero aren't the tallest guys out there. So when you got three pillars standing in between us, I got to find out if he's staying there looking at me, looking out at Jalen, or if he's pushing the coverage. Then when I verified that he was pushing this way because he turned, then I came back to Jalen.
Tua, last week you said this feeling sucks. Today you're saying it's shock. Where does this team go from here now that you guys are 1-5 on the season?
Well, the only place we can go is next week. We talk about figuring this out. We talk about getting it together collectively. What are the problems? What are the issues? And are they getting fixed? Are they not getting fixed? Why are they not getting fixed? Or if they're fixed, how are we not allowing it to happen again? Things of that nature. So we got to look at the film again. We got to see where we can go. I contributed to a lot of that as well with the 3 turnovers. You can't do that and expect to win games. But, we all got to look at ourselves, not pointing fingers. We got to look at ourselves individually first about what I could have done to help our team win that game. And then we can come together and we can talk about, all right, we need this group to do this better or whatever. But that's why I say it's frustrating.
So what was Mike's message to you guys collectively as a team here in the locker room after this?
We got to continue to stay together. Everyone's going to want to say what they want to say, but we got to continue to stay together. And Jordan Brooks shared a Bible verse with us as well, and I thought it was super dope about a brother being born for adversity. We're in adversity right now, and he's talking about this is what this is about. Although we can't see the picture of what God's plan is for us as a football team, where we're at right now, we continue to be grateful for where we're at, but not content. Grateful but not content. We got to continue to strive to get better and do things a different way. It has to be different. It has to be different. Can't do the same things expecting that we're going to get a different result.
Darren Waller scored his 4th touchdown in 3 games. Could you talk about what he's meant to you and this offense?
He's a baller. D-Wall, he's a baller. The ball finds him every time in the end zone. And the relationship I have with him is the relationship I have with a lot of the guys. It's just the connection. He's just so much bigger and allows, for me to see him a lot earlier in my peripheral, whereas I got to kind of look at guys then confirm areas for them. So with D-Wall, he's just a ball hawk, he finds the ball in the end zone.
You threw that
touchdown to him, 46 seconds left. Did you think you had done it, or did you look up at the clock, the guy was on the other side, and think, there's a shot here?
No, it's the NFL. The only thing, my job there was to score, literally. If not, we would have lost the game. After that, cheering on the defense, cheering on the special teams guys to go out there, it's the NFL. Anything can happen. Even at that 5-second mark, if we did get a completion and we were able to do whatever the Miami Miracle is that happened, that would have been sweet. But anything can happen in the league. So I wouldn't say that anytime we score with a minute or 30 seconds or 20 seconds left that it's necessarily over, because you got to keep playing until it hits 0-0.
On that, do you think with Mike moving forward, you guys have conversations like, hey, maybe we try to score with 15 seconds left, get a little run play in, just to manage that clock a little bit better? Or how do you work that?
Well, I don't think you work it necessarily in that sense that way, only because the way they were using their timeouts. Outside of that, third down, you got to have a fourth down play. There's just a lot of logistics that go into that. But then that's where you have faith in your defense. You got your defense. You also got your special teams guys going out there. You allow them to play the game as well.
How do you keep this team from taking a woe is me mentality towards what's going on with you guys? How do you keep this team from taking a woe is me mentality like this keeps happening to us situations?
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
To be clear, you're saying some players were late or missed?
Late, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.